Hello again. We are on page 85, peeled and cored. We are studying fruit in biology. Miss Keene has spent a week teaching us the finer points of stamens and pistils, seed pods and flowers. The earth has frozen. It snows lightly at night, but Miss Keene is determined to keep spring alive in the classroom. The back row sleeps until she points out the apple trees need bees to reproduce. Reproduce is a trigger word for the back row. They have figured out it is related to sex. The lecture on pistils and stamens turns into a big ha-ha. Miss Keene has been teaching since the Middle Ages. It would take more than a row of overheated hypothalami to distract her from the day's lesson. She calmly proceeds to the hands-on portion of the lab. Apples. We each get a Rome or a Cortland or a Macintosh and a plastic knife. We are instructed to dissect. The back row holds sword fights. Miss Keene silently writes their names on the blackboard along with their current grade. She takes off 1 point for every minute the sword fight continues. They go from low B's to very low C's before they figure out what's going on. They howl! Back row, not fair! You can't do that to us! You didn't give us a chance! She takes off another point. They saw their apples mutter, mutter, curse, curse. Old cow, stupid teacher. David Petracus, my lab partner, cuts his apple into 8 equal wedges. He doesn't say a word. He is in the middle of a pre-med week. David can't make up his mind between pre-med and pre-law. 9th grade is a minor inconvenience to him, a zit cream commercial before the feature film of life. Apple smell soaks the air. One time when I was little, my parents took me to an orchard. Daddy set me high in the apple tree. It was like falling up into a storybook. Yummy and red and leaf and the branch not shaking a bit. Bees bumbled through the air, so stuffed with apple they couldn't be bothered to sting me. The sun warmed my hair and wind pushed my mother into my father's arms. And all the apple-picking parents and children smile for a long, long time. That's how biology class smells. I bite my apple. White teeth, red apple, hard juice, deep bite. David sputters. David, you're not supposed to do that. She'll kill you. You're supposed to cut it. If you even listen, you'll lose points. Clearly, David missed the apple tree sitting requirements of childhood. I cut the rest of my apple into 4 fat pieces. My apple has 12 seeds. One of the seeds has split its shell and reaches a white hand upward. An apple tree growing from an apple seed growing in an apple. I show the little plant seed to Miss Keene. She gives me extra credit. David rolls his eyes. Biology is so cool. First Amendment, second verse. Rebellion is in the air. We only have a week left before winter break. Students are getting away with murder, and the staff is too worn out to care. I hear rumors of eggnog in the faculty lounge. This revolutionary spirit is even breaking out in social studies class. David Petracus is fighting back about the freedom to speak thing. I get to class on time. I don't dare use a stolen late pass with Mr. Neck. David takes a seat in the front row and sets a tape recorder on his desk. As Mr. Neck opens his mouth to speak, David presses the play and record buttons at the same time, like a pianist hitting an open chord. Mr. Neck teach us a class straight. We are galloping toward the Revolutionary War. He writes no taxation without representation on the board. Very cool rhyming slogan. Too bad they didn't have bumper stickers back then. The colonists wanted a voice in the British Parliament. No one in power would listen to their complaints. The lecture is going to sound great on the tape. Mr. Neck has prepared notes and everything. His voice is as smooth as a new poured road. No bumps. The tape will not be able to pick up the angry gleam in Mr. Neck's eyes, though. He glares at David the whole time he's speaking. If a teacher stared murder at me for 48 minutes, I'd turn into a puddle of melted jello. David stares back. The school office is the best place for gossip. I overhear the sound bite of Petrarchus's lawyer while I wait for another lecture from my guidance counselor about not living up to my potential. How does she know what my potential is? Potential for what? When she talks blah blah, I usually count the dots in her ceiling tiles. The guidance counselor is late today, so I sit invisible in the red plastic chair while the secretary brings a PTA volunteer to warp speed on the Petrarchus thing. David's parents have hired a big, nasty, expensive lawyer. He is threatening to sue the school and Mr. Neck for everything from incompetence to civil rights violations. David's tape recorder is allowed in class to document potential future violations. The secretary doesn't sound too upset at the idea that Mr. Neck could get canned. I bet she knows him personally. David must have mentioned the hairy eyeball treatment to his lawyer that afternoon because the next day there is a video camera set up in the back of the class. David is my hero. Wombats rule! I let Heather talk me into going to the winter assembly. She hates sitting alone almost as much as I do. The Marthas have not issued an imperial invitation for her to sit with them. She's bummed, but she tries not to show it. Perfect Martha style, she wears a green sweater with a huge Santa face on it. Red leggings and fluffy boots. Too perfect. I refuse to wear anything seasonal. Heather gives me my Christmas present early. Bell earrings that chime when I turn my head. This means I'll have to get her something. Maybe I'll go wholesome and buy a friendship necklace. She's not the friendship necklace type. The bells are a great choice. I shake my head all through the principal's speech to drown out his noise. The orchestra plays an unrecognizable tune. Heather says the school band won't let them perform Christmas carols or Hanukkah songs or Kwanzaa songs. Instead of multicultural, we have no cultural. The high point of the assembly is the announcement of our new name and mascot. Principal reads the vote. Bees, 3. Icebergs, 17. Hilltoppers, 1. Wombats, 32. And the other 1,547 votes were write-ins or illegible. Merryweather Wombats has a nice ring. We are the Wombats, woozy, wicked Wombats, worried, withdrawn, weepy, weird Wombats. We pass Raven cheerleader and Amber cheerleader on the way to my bus. They wrinkle their brow as they struggle to rhyme wombat. Democracy is a wonderful institution. Winter break. School is out, and there are 2 days until Christmas. Mom left a note saying I can put up the tree if I want. I drag the tree out of the basement and stand it in the driveway so I can sweep the dust and cobwebs off of it with a broom. We leave the lights on it from year to year. All we have to do is hang ornaments. There is something about Christmas that requires a rugrat. Little kids make Christmas fun. I wonder if we could rent one for the holidays. When I was tiny, we would buy a real tree and stay up late drinking hot chocolate and finding just the right place for the special decorations. It seems like my parents gave up the magic when I figured out that Santa was a lie. Maybe I shouldn't have told them I knew where the presents really came from. It broke their hearts. I bet they'd be divorced by now if I hadn't been born. I'm sure I was a huge disappointment. I'm not pretty or smart or athletic. I'm just like them, an ordinary drone dressed in secrets and lies. I can't believe we have to keep play acting until I graduate. I can't believe I'm sorry, it's a shame we can't just admit that we have failed family living, sell the house, split up the money, and get on with our lives. Merry Christmas. I call Heather, but she's shopping. What would Heather do if she were here and the house didn't feel like Christmas? I will pretend to be Heather. I bundle up in a geeky snow clothes, wrap a scarf around my head, and plunge into a snowdrift. The backyard is gorgeous. The trees and bushes are all wrapped in ice, reflecting sunlight into something powerful. I just have to make a snow angel. I tromp to an unmarked piece of snow and let myself fall backwards. The scarf falls over my mouth as I wave my wings. The wet wool smells like first grade. Walking to school on a cold morning with my milk money jangling in the tips of my mittens. We lived in a different house then, a smaller house. Mom worked at the jewelry counter and was home after school. Dad had a nicer boss and talked all the time about buying a boat. I believed in Santa Claus. The wind stirs and the branches overhead. My heart clangs like a fire bell. The scarf is too tight on my mouth. I pull it off to breathe. The moisture on my skin freezes. I want to make a wish, but I don't know what to wish for. And I have snow up my back. I break off branches from the holly bush and a few sprigs of pine and carry them inside. I tie them together with red yarn and set them on the fireplace mantel and on the dining room table. It doesn't look as nice as when the lady on TV did it, but it makes the place smell better. I still wish we could borrow a kid for a few days. We sleep till noon on Christmas. I give Mom a black sweater and Dad a CD with 60s hits. They give me a handful of gift certificates, a TV for my room, ice skates, and a sketch pad with charcoal and pencils. They say they have noticed me drawing. I almost tell them right then and there. Tears flood my eyes. They notice I've been trying to draw. They noticed. I tried to swallow the snowball in my throat. This isn't going to be easy. I'm sure they suspect I was at the party. Maybe they even heard about me calling the cops. But I want to tell them everything as we sit there by our plastic Christmas tree while Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer video plays. I wipe my eyes. They wait with unsure smiles. The snowball grows larger. When I snuck home that night, they weren't in the house. Both cars were gone. I was supposed to be at Rachel's all night long. They weren't expecting me, that's for sure. I showered until the hot water was gone. Then I crawled in bed and did not sleep. Mom pulled in around 2 a.m. Dad just before sunup. They had not been together. What have they been doing? I thought I knew. How can I talk to them about that night? How can I start? Rudolph sets out on his ice floe. I'm independent, he declares. Dad looks at his watch. Mom stuffs the wrapping paper into a garbage bag. They leave the room. I'm still sitting on the floor, holding the paper and charcoals. I didn't even say thank you.